Purple and Gold stream, the home of Los Angeles Lakers. You're listening to Purple and
Laker fans, what is going on? What a game for the Lakers. They take Chicago Bulls and go perfect on the road. 9-0. 101-90 final score. This was a collective team effort. They had guys like THT finally got his playing time. He's got 21 minutes of playing and scoring double figure. And our bench production was up to par. But if I have to pick the players that showed up tonight, Anthony Davis finished with 37 points, 6 rebounds, 14 for 21 from field. This was coming out party for AD. Coming back home, he wanted to perform in front of his family and friends. No. You know, when he's playing this well from the start, that he's capable of putting up this kind of number. And when he's aggressive from the start, you know that he will show the dominant side of AD. Like the last game against Bucks, he was a little passive. He did not shoot the ball well, and his free throw was off. But tonight, he just showed that he's dominant ball player when he's given the chance to perform. LeBron finished with 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. And the other guy that I'd like to mention is, of course, THT, right? Finally got his playing time, so Lakers fans wanted. They were all wondering where the THTs go. He scored 10 points, 3 for 6 from the field, 4 for 4 from free throw line. And he was excellent on the floor. Barely made a mistake. Still committed 2 turnovers. With other guys like Montreal Harrell performed, it's 10 points, 29 minutes of play. He did much of damage in the fourth quarter, of course, when the game was a garbage. And we set out the starters for the rest of fourth quarter. Very ideal game for Lakers. No, they needed some rest for the starters for the rest of this trip. They play LeBron AD a lot in the Bucks game. Very good, ideal game. The next game they're playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Monday. And they play Philly, Detroit, Boston, and the Atlanta Hawks. What is your prediction for the remaining 5 games for the Lakers? Think they could go 4-1. Ideally, they could lose to either Philly or Boston Celtics. But I could be wrong. I could be right. So the way they're playing as a team, I wouldn't be surprised if they go perfect in this road trip. They beat Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are a really good team. They're as good as Philly or Boston. The Lakers are capable of beating Bucks, and they can beat anyone in the East, especially. The Lakers go 13-4, and earlier today, Clippers tied the record with the Lakers, but now Lakers have half games ahead of the Clippers. It's interesting to see how the schedules work for the Lakers right now. They just have a fairly easy schedule in the beginning. Now they have a 7-game road trip. Everyone said that the real test comes when you go on the road for the many games. And this is the time that Lakers have to prove that we are defending champ and we deserve to repeat this year. And they're just continue to prove that. Right? They just show that they're a resilient team and they can play better on the road than home. Of course, you don't really call it home game this season without the fans in attendance. A lot of road games are played close to reduce the distance of the travel. Even the road games, like right now, every games are close to each other. Bulls, Cavaliers, and the Boston, Philly, and Atlanta, they're like very close to each other, so they don't have to travel as far. And that's what NBA is doing well. They are, doing excellent job with their scheduling. They're allowing players to get as many rest as possible and to reduce the travel distance, to reduce the number of COVID-19 cases. And then very impressed. How they did in the bubble impressed me, but this season, how they're handling the situation is also impressing. But we don't know how things are going to turn out for the next couple months, a couple weeks. If things get worse, the NBA is considering, suspending maybe two weeks, pausing, but then I go hiatus, right? Not like a 4 months break and just going to the wild card, then go straight into a playoff kind of thing. It's not going to happen this year. We got a lot of money at stake, the financial situation. Just gotta, look at the opportunity. Right now, there are a couple games that are getting suspended still, and the Washington games haven't played for 2 weeks. I haven't seen the Washington Wizards play. I hope everything's all right. Just a lot of play gets positive, and Lakers don't play Wizards this time, but you don't know what other teams are gonna have the same effect as Wizard. Everyone needs to get isolated. It needs to stay in their self-quarantine. Need to get tested daily. Just that the virus situation is not getting any better right now. It's the governments to handle that, and the new presidents stepped in right now. So hopefully their administration does better than the past president. I wouldn't even call a president, of course, but there's some guy that who ran the country for a joke for 4 years. They finally stepped down. It's not for me to criticize about politicians, but I think everyone pretty much feel the same way. All right. This is off the Lakers game topic, but I'd like to talk about Kyle Kuzma a little bit. Kyle Kuzma continued to show that he hasn't really improved over the years. His production number was better in the second year. He had the best production number in the second year. Then after that, just on constant decline. Last year, he averaged the lowest for his career. This year, he's actually averaging lower than his last year. And amount of playing time he gets is about the same. He hasn't really reduced his playing time much. He's still coming up the bench first, along with Harrell. So I'm a little concerned about the Kyle Kuzma's performance right now. We signed the rookie extension with him this year, and he hasn't really lived up to that money. So they're concerned about Kuzma getting traded before the trade deadline, and there's a rumor about him and trading to Rockets for Victor Oladipo along with the KCP. I'll be sad to see KCP go, because he's a type of player that we need for our championship run. He played really well during that bubble playoff. He gave us that much needed offensive scoring. So I'll be sad to see KCP go. But if we can exchange for Victor Oladipo for Kyle Kuzma and KCP, then I wouldn't even hesitate to do that trade. All-star player for role players, you can do it anytime. If you're Rob Pelinka, you're a GM of the team, you pull that trade. It's a win-win situation, both teams. The Rockets are in rebuilding mode after trading Harden. Right now they're trying to build around John Wall and the Christian Wood, or the other young pieces. They get the young player like Kyle Kuzma, who's capable of putting 20 points every night if he's given the chance, and KCP, who's a decent 3-and-D player, can provide offense off the bench. I'm not sure whether he's going to start in the Rockets, but he could be coming off the bench. Right? The Lakers just don't have enough wing players, so he's getting put in the lineup. But yeah, I could see a win-win trade for both teams. What do you think? All right, leave the comments below and press like the video if you like the content. Continue subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with another post-game recap on Monday. Have a good rest of the weekend, and go Lakers.